So this is going to be a recorded meeting, and so I apologize for that. But the PowerPoints will be shared with you all as well. I will upload this meeting into YouTube, and then I will share all the information with you all as well. Okay, and so you will have her information there. But what's going to happen next is the breakout rooms. Like I said earlier, I heard from a couple of grantees that said, you know what, I see that there's another grantee working in the same community as I am. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what, I want to know more about them. And so what's going to happen is we're going to have a little breakout session. This breakout session would be a couple of minutes for you. I call it the extended elevator conversation. You know, usually when you go in an elevator, you have 30 seconds to introduce yourself really quickly, talk about like you get to the point, right? And so I said extended so that each of you will have, you know, a few minutes to kind of introduce who you are, your position or your agency, what you do, what is the equity fund providing you with, so you can provide to your community. And so I'm going to put you into breakout rooms, and then I'm going to try to put PSU in and divide PSU into separate rooms as well. And so I'm going to do that, and definitely just take this time to get to know each other, ask good questions, okay? And then I'm going to give us about 12 minutes for us to kind of introduce ourselves. And so let me go ahead and do that. Create rooms. Was that good? Thumbs up? Yeah, I hope you all were able to get to kind of meet. I know it was a very short period of time, but I hope you all were kind of able to get to meet someone else that is a part of that is a grantee. You know, like I said, you all are doing similar work, and so I'm glad that you were able to give you that little bit of time. And Olivia, I see your hand up. Did you have something to say?
Kimberly, Yedidah's been trying to log on for half an hour.
Mhm. Yeah, she's been emailing me, and I've been emailing her back. I wonder if she's in the GoTo meeting link or if she's in the Zoom link. So I just sent her the Zoom link. So hopefully she's
Okay.
able to log in.
Okay, so she just sent you a Zoom. Okay.
I don't see anyone in the waiting room. So when she comes in, it'll pop up and say that someone's in the waiting room, and then I'll admit her in. And so
Right.
just
So
tell her
maybe
to
she
come back.
clicked into a different one, huh? Okay.
Should be.
Got it.
But like I said, you know, this is recorded now. We'll send it out to any staff that is missing, or I am having technical glitches and maybe it's my fault. I'm going to say probably 99.9% is my fault right now. And so hopefully everybody will be able to come on in. So I'm going to continue with the webinar. The next on the agenda is Portland State University. Amanda, I'm going to hand over the screen to you. Let me give you, let's see, Amanda, where are you? There you go. More. It says make the host. There you go. Let me know if you're able to. There you go.
Kimberly, would you send her one more link? She's been sitting on the Zoom link.
Okay, will do.
She just got in? Yes, I'm in the meeting?
Yes.
Okay, just got in. Thank you.
Amanda?
It helps if you unmute.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm hoping that everyone is looking at what I'm looking at, which is Mount Hood. And as I think we met last time, but I am Amanda Crossheimer, and I work for Portland State University at the Center for Improvement in Child and Family Services. And I've been emailing many of you, and today this presentation is a follow-up to the emails that went out about partnering for the evaluation. The last webinar we were on, a really good question was asked about what exactly are you asking of us? Because I gave the broad strokes outline of what we were looking for, but didn't really give very many details about about what we were really asking. And so this time I wanted to follow up on the email that I sent about that and just kind of cover what we're seeking from partners, and then in more detail that actually tells you, like, do I have time to do this? And then also get your feedback about other ways to participate. So again, I'm going to talk about what are we asking of stakeholders, what are other options for participation, and kind of what do we need to know? Is there anything you'd like the evaluation team to know about how to partner with you, or the kinds of things you think are most important in hearing from you about regarding the evaluation? So again, just as a refresher, we were looking for collaborative evaluation stakeholders. So we were looking for about 10 grantee organization partners to step up for this level of participation. We were asking people to commit to basically a 6-month period of participation. We don't have, that can continue if people want to keep participating, but we wanted to make it so that, you know, maybe you wouldn't feel like the commitment was going to last forever. And so 6 months at a time, and then compensation is offered. We're offering, if about 10 grantee organizations participate, we're looking at about $4,000 in unrestricted funds to your organization for your efforts with this being a stakeholder partner. And here's what we're asking. This is the process that we had sort of originally envisioned. And part of my putting out the email was to get feedback on whether or not this level of participation was something that people could commit to, and if there were enough people who had this the bandwidth for this level of commitment, and then also to get feedback on whether there were pieces or parts of this that they could do, as well as other ways they might like to participate. And then if they couldn't also participate at this level, what level would be more realistic? But as originally conceived, we were asking people to participate in a monthly meeting, and we suggested an hour and a half for those meetings because they're working meetings. 1 phone check-in, receiving and responding to 2 email requests asking for your input, feedback, or comment on draft evaluation documents. So often we might put out an email asking you to provide feedback on a question, and then we'll put together, we'll gather that information together, what people said, and then send a drafted document with everybody's feedback back to you that you could then comment on. And then reviewing documents that we put together and providing feedback and suggesting changes. And we anticipated this entire piece to take about 3 to 3.5 hours during a month. But in practice, this might look like time spent. So you'd get an email asking you to contribute ideas or suggestions. So for example, we might ask, so what do you want the legislature to know? What do you think is the most important questions to ask to tell the legislature what they need to know about this startup, the first startup period? And then you'd let us know the answer to that question. And then we would get together in a meeting to discuss, refine, and generate additional input through discussion and work with peers. Then we might try to synthesize and gather all of that data, that work we did together, into some kind of formalized document or instrument, for example, like maybe an interview protocol. And then we would send it out to you asking for feedback. And then we might want to call you about any outstanding issues that might require a resolution, or if there's, sometimes things may be straightforward and there may be a lot of consensus, but sometimes that may not be true. So trying to build in processes for continuing to work through unresolved issues. We've had these kinds of processes before when we were doing the original learning brief that was advocating for funding for the Early Childhood Equity Fund programs. Putting together that brief with lots of communities. You know, people may have different perspectives or different things that they want to advocate for. So it just kind of requires some negotiation and working together. And so we're trying to recognize building that into our process and let you know that that is something that takes time that we would be asking. And so at this point, so that's a pretty quick review of what we were asking for in terms of time and what it would look like in reality. And then we really, I didn't hear a whole lot of feedback from people about what they thought of that level of participation. I did hear from some people that that is a workable thing for them. So we have, and I sent an email back, I believe, to everybody who responded and let them know we would be getting a hold of them shortly to talk about next steps. But we were also like more information from you about what other options for participation would you like to see? And I was hoping to open that for a whole group discussion, or as well as, I know some people like it's intimidating maybe to talk on a Zoom, or chat is a better option for you. So please feel free to share either way. And I'm going to take some notes if we hear from people. And if my colleagues would like to add anything, please, they should feel free as well.
So I guess I'll start and just ask, what is the overall product or result that you're seeking from this process?
We have to report to the legislature. The rules for the Equity Fund require an evaluation report. So we would be reporting on outcomes and process and outcomes. But the outcomes are pretty loosely defined. And for the first year, because there may not be the kind of outcomes that you might expect to see maybe after the second year, the first part will probably be heavily process oriented, but trying to figure out and define how the rules for the equity fund are operationalized and measured. So so that the questions we ask or the ways that we go out and try to gather data from your communities make sense for you, tell the story you want to tell, and just are a good fit with what you think the legislature needs to know after year one. And so the product is, I think, technically a report, but we also want to do a utilization focused evaluation. So we'd also like people to consider what would be helpful for them. Like, what could we do to support you, to give you some tools that you could use? And so our mandate is the first one, and our hope and goal is also the second one.
Is there a specific, I guess I'm thinking of the size of our project. Is there a specific candidate that you're looking for? I know that our grant is probably smaller than the rest of the grantees, but I'm just wondering about that. I would hate to volunteer and sign up and then we're a very small sample of the whole project.
I think that that's not a problem if you had bandwidth and availability. We're, in many ways, what we would hope for is that people can, you're serving the communities and can just help us make sure our methods are culturally appropriate, all those kinds of things. And those aren't really related to your project size.
This is Ann Olivia from the Salem Kaiser Coalition. And I told you out loud that I'd like to do it, but I didn't answer your email, and now I did. So we would like to be part of the project. But what we would like is more interaction with helping us. We're working already on evaluations. We have a consultant with another one of our grants that is working on helping us develop protective factors evaluation systems. Before that, we were measuring, and we still, do measure the progress of children on how many letters they learned or whatever. And we ask parents, the self thing about the parenting ladder that OSU developed, which I've modified because I didn't like all of it, but I modified it. And so we've used those different tools and we're still using those. But we would really love to have more. I'm always looking for more advice or more help with structuring those perfect measurement tools. And then the second part, I almost think it's easier because that's when we all get to sit down and analyze the results. But the measurement tools and doing the measuring is a very lot of work. You know what I mean? So, and then we'd like to, be able to talk because there's always these pros and cons, and Yadira would tell you a lot about. I'll say, well, can we ask them this? And she's the one she's the parent from the community, and so she knows. And it's like, this is not going to work to ask parents that, or whatever. And so there's those discussions which we would love to have in groups to talk about what our parents really are best asked. What do we need to ask, and what should we not try to keep bothering them with, etc. So that's what I want to put in there.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, Amanda, we got some information in the chat, a couple of questions. One from Danita at ERCO. Is it possible to participate in the evaluation completely through email and written feedback? So I think that'll be important to think about. And also Pilar shared the idea of using this group, since it's going to meet regularly, to maybe collect some information and have more discussion in breakout sessions. And then Zakia from Education Explorers said they were interested, but they didn't receive the email invite. And then Patricia from Adelante said they were interested. So I find it hard to watch the chat and kind of pay attention to people at the same time.
We'll make sure we correct the email invitation problem. Thank you for sharing interest. I think that my hope would be we've asked Kimberly and the Early Childhood Equity Fund team if we can come to these meetings and participate with you regularly. So I believe that yes, this is a way we would be asking for the entire group's feedback. So that will continue, but there are some things that require kind of some in-depth, maybe more intensive work, so if you aren't a stakeholder, it doesn't mean you'll never get to provide input on the evaluation. So I just want to make that clear. But the more in-depth work to be able to bring back to this group for a broader share out or discussion is the piece that we're talking about with stakeholders. And I would think that we're going to try to be as open and flexible as possible about how to participate, especially right now, right? Because it's such a difficult time for making things happen with COVID. So I'm sorry about my dog. But yeah, so I think we're open to lots of ways to participate, and we mostly just need the feedback to hear like, hey, I can get emails and provide comments and documents, but like getting that extra 1 hour Zoom in is just more than I can do. That's the kind of stuff we need to hear.
Another important thing that I think I'm hearing from folks is, and I think we talked about this already, Amanda, is we know that some of you are already doing some data collection, doing some evaluation. So we want to understand that and make sure that we're not duplicating the work that you're already doing or figuring out how we could support the work that you're doing through this evaluation.
And backtracking just a little bit, I love the protective factors evaluation concept, and I would love to keep work on that and momentum moving forward.
Can I ask, have you already selected the 10 partners that you were looking for, and where are, you know, if how will the partners be notified?
Anybody who's already expressed interest via email, I've emailed them back, but people can email me. You can just tell me right now also. And then we have 4 people so far who've, and then I guess we just had a couple more. So, but if you could send me an email letting me know, that would be great. I'll put my email up here on the screen.
I think it would be very helpful if we had a tribal partner, so I would like to volunteer to be part of this process as well. I think we have a different look on education and the responsibilities.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you a follow-up email after this meeting. Thank you. Any final comments before I turn things back over to Kimberly and the ELD team?
If no one else has one, I just wanted to mention that it would be really nice to finally have a chance to talk to this many different partners in one of your meetings of 10 organizations, to compare how it is asking all these different questions, you know, of if anyone else is using the parenting ladder, or if anyone else is using any other evaluations tools, and what works and what doesn't work. It's been an experimental process. We're talking in Spanish and we're talking with a certain group of people, so everyone is different, but really like to hear more from people, because I don't have, I haven't had much in the way of partners except for the district to find out, you know, what's happening with evaluation, you know. So.
Hi, this is Yadira from Salem Kaiser Coalition for Equality, and just follow up the Ana Livia conversation. It would be great just to know with more cultural questions for the families. As Ana Livia was mentioned before, there is some questions on the parent led that we have that it's like doesn't fit very well with the Latino community. So it would be great if we just can have feedback for any questions about cultural responses for Latino families. Thank you.
This is Janine from Orchwa, and our effort is a collaborative effort of multiple organizations. I think one of the things that would be helpful on our end is having some conversations or assessment around collaboration and effective collaboration. So not just the provision of services to community members, but also looking at how to have an effective collaboration and really having some conversation around that evaluation point.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm getting things down in my notes here.
And I just wanted to reflect back on the comment that someone made earlier about being maybe worried about being too small. And I think actually, you know, the more diversity in terms of size, location, communities served that we can have as part of the evaluation group, the more information we'll have about how things might land for different parents or staff. So I think that's really actually very helpful to have a real mix. It sounds like we're getting there too.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we good, PSU? That's great information. Great. I mean, I'm happy to see and hear, you know, the questions, to see the ones that are volunteering. I echo what Beth said. We want a diverse pool. You know, we want small organizations, big organizations. You know, the different demographics you all are serving. You know, like we want to make sure that it's the evaluation is done in this way where it is um, um, open and flexible and understanding to all different communities. And so I love hearing the individuals and the agencies that are volunteering to be a part of it. And so, and if any of you after this meeting think about it, definitely connect with Amanda and Beth and Lorelei and connect with them and say you would like to be a part of it, because like we said, the more diverse pool, the better. We want all the different perspectives at the table. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, Amanda, you have to stop sharing your screen first for me to be able to. Okay. Let's see. All right. Share. So next, what's going to happen is I'm just going to show you some data. These are the foundational data, you know, kind of the basic data when we talk about the Early Childhood Equity Fund and what's being supported by everyone here. And so, but before I do that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the check-ins. You know, I apologize. There's been so many invitations and swaps and changes. As you all know, we were using GoToMeeting. And then on the 30th of December, we were informed that we are no longer using GoTo and that we are going to transition to Zoom, but they're slowly giving us Zoom accounts. And so because I don't have a Zoom account yet, I said to them, hey, there's got to be a way I need to connect with my grantees. Like I talk to, you know, 2, 3, 4 every single day. And so they've enabled me to be able to use Microsoft Teams for now. And until I have a Zoom account, then I will re-update it to Zoom. And so I'm just going to apologize ahead of time for all the invitation changes with the platforms that we're using. And so right now at the ELD, we're still transitioning onto Zoom. And so I'm just going to give you that heads up that you might get those invitations. Some of you already received those invitations already. And so that will be coming your way. Monthly webinars and check-ins will continue monthly. And moving forward, since we kind of gone through the first, you know, rounds of reports and quarterly reports and everything, I'm looking at the information, and I think what's going to happen for this next couple of rounds for my check-ins would be more clarity on the reports, you know, kind of talking to you about your target numbers, your demographics, you know, are we meeting what we said we would, what we help you with in the target numbers, are we on track to have all the number of children and families you said you would serve. I know COVID has changed a lot of things, and it's changed timelines, it's changed staffing, it's changed so much. And so with that, I'm going to talk with you about that during the check-in meetings. But one thing I really definitely want to talk about is the demographics report. As I look at this information, I just wanted to say that when you submit these demographics report, please have all the areas completed. Whether there are some that are being submitted that it's missing, you know, the ages of the children. There are some that are missing the complete demographics of the children. Some are missing, the parent relationship to the child, whether it is a parent, a foster parent, a legal guardian. Definitely please have those all filled in. And I understand that you all did not get this enrollment form and these demographic reports. And some of you, the grantees, have said, Kimberly, we did not know you were going to go this much in depth when it comes to the different ethnicities. And so it's going to take time. Completely understand. And so I just wanted to reiterate that everything is on this form is what we will be needing. And so I will be connecting with some of you because there's just some that are missing a little data here, a little data there. And so I want to be able to have the true numbers that we can report to the legislatures on who we are serving. And so I tried to have that information for what's currently been submitted, but then there were some that I just did not want to give you false information because I can tell there were some reports that were missing information, and there were some reports that I'm going to connect back with grantees that maybe there was confusion. And so I just want to reiterate that for us, just to make sure we have everything in this demographic report submitted when you complete your monthly report. And then Dina, did you want to talk about the additional question that you're going to add to the report?
Yeah. Okay, so I need to share my screen. So if you can stop.
Yep. So let me.
I can share it from here.
Stop share. There you go.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just share my screen. So I made some changes. Actually, can you see my report screen, Kimberly?
Yes.
Okay, so I made some changes on the monthly report that have taken effect immediately. So what we are looking right now is report that you guys are familiar with, and we are talking only about program grant monthly report. So I wanted to show you the addition that we added in order to correctly count unduplicated children that are being served, because that is something that we have been struggling for the past couple of months of reporting, like Kimberly just mentioned. So what is added, if you select your program activity, let's say parenting education, these are the fields that you have to fill up. All of these are mandatory, so you will not be able to submit your report without it. So now what we are counting is you had, let's say, 4 kids that joined your program this month, but you served a total of 54. So you are counting the ones that are continuously in your program plus these additional 4. Same with parents, new families that joined, 3 families joined, but you had 48 families from previous months. That means that you have 51 family. So when you look at this report, make sure that you enter it for each program activity. So we need to be able to count your existing numbers, because we are counting numbers of services provided, but we also have to know how many children individually unduplicated just joined your organization or your activities. And in relation to that, demographics report that Kimberly just talked about, can you see demographic report now, Kimberly? Okay.
Yes.
So this is where you add only new children for that month. So let's say you are reporting for December. You already in previous months reported 50 children through demographics report. So we are tracking them. In this demographic report, each month you're only adding new children that joined that month. So if you have, if you have 50 and you're adding 3 in that new field on your report, that is where you're adding information for those kids. And you're adding all the details, and then you attach that so the only change is we are separating, we are counting new and counting total served. If you need any help with your reports, please email us. We are happy to jump on a phone or meeting and explain it. Thanks.
So can I ask a real quick question?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you go back to the other view where the report is entered, I'd been adding all the programs we do. So I have parenting, education, parent-child interaction, and kindergarten transition. So I put all 3 in there.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want me to do 3 reports with 1 program in it, or to put all 3 programs?
All 3 programs. We are
Okay.
still, if you have it, because in those I'm counting, because what we want to change, like for each specific organization, we want to count total number of children, which is going to be at the end of year. Okay, we serve this program year, we serve 60 kids, but we also want to count number of services provided. So if you have 30 children that go through parent-child interaction, parenting education, kindergarten transition, that is 90 services. And we want to be able to show that, because like if you show just number of children, that means that like the number is not showing the full impact of what you did. But if you say I had 30 children, but we submitted we had 900 services, that means that you continuously worked for, you know, that many hours with these kids. And that is what we are trying. So we have to have that demographics report for unduplicated children, but we also have to count services.
So this is good. So then when it says, I did this before, when we have some children that are in all 3, so we had the children in parenting education and the children that were in parent interaction, parent-child interaction, and some children in kindergarten transition. And so I put them over and over again. So it was the first month. So let's say it was 30. I put 30 and the same 30 again and the same 30 again because we were serving. But we actually had different numbers. We had, let's say, 45 of them that are part of the parenting education, but there's only 30 families that went to the parent-child interaction. So I had the 45 under parenting education and the 30 under parent-child interaction. And even though those 30, most of them are also part of the 45.
Yeah,
but
no,
that's what you don't care. You still want those listed like that. Okay,
yes.
I think we did it right then. The only thing I didn't know is about only adding new ones.
Yeah.
So I'd have to go back and see, do we need to correct? No,
wait,
December 15th was my first report, I think.
Yeah, so I think that you're
Okay.
good. Me and Kimberly will review what we have so far, and then we will individually reach out to you if we have some questions, like Kimberly mentioned about demographics reports, same as this.
Right, okay.
Okay, awesome.
Gina, can you go back to the other form? I just want to clarify one thing that.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Total number of children served, those are the new children served.
Yes.
Not, okay, just new children, not anybody. Okay. And no, and on here, we're not adding the total amount of children served.
No,
okay.
Just the new one.
Dina, is there a way that you ladies can change that and say total number of new children served?
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Yeah,
just add the word.
I will update that, and then you can go, let me just show you real quick. And I'm pretty sure that everybody have this, but I will share it. You can go here and download the forms.
Yeah.
So I will share this link. I'll update the form and then share this link again with all of you, just so you guys have it.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
I have a question also. On the report for me for December, I just typed in same as last month. Is that okay?
You have to enter the numbers. You can't just put the text. So
no, not for this one, for the demographic, because it didn't change. We didn't get any new kiddos in December.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we should just turn it in with a 0.
Yeah. Because that field is required, so you have to attach something. So if you attach the blank one or just put no new kiddos, like she mentioned, then yeah, you can do that.
Right.
Yeah, there's some that have submitted and said still serving same kids from last month, 0. Yeah. So they put that on the month, and so that tells me, okay, same demographics as last month, and so
okay,
do that. Yep.
Awesome. And if you guys have, go ahead.
Adina and Kim, are those new forms going to be uploaded today on the website?
They're already active. So the links that you have for reporting so far, I just changed those. So the link stays the same. I just changed the content. On demographics report, yes, that's going to be today. When Kimberly emails you guys like a link for this recorded report, she's going to also send the link for this. And the only thing that will be changed, this is going to say total number of new children served.
Perfect, because we're preparing to submit the report for this month. So
yeah. So the only thing that will change is new. So if you like, don't wait on us. You can put, you know, new children or something like that here until we update that. But yeah, it's going to be hopefully today, right, Kimberly? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it just depends on how long it takes to upload the video to YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will put that all in one email, so you all will have in one email the PowerPoints, and the video, and the portal with the updated information on there. So I am cognizant of the time, and so I realize it's 12:05. I am not going to share the data. I will wait till next month to share the data. But then what I'll do is I just wanted to kind of talk about some reminders before we head out real quick. I know some individuals, you all have to leave. We all have back-to-back meetings. And so definitely feel free if you need to go. This, like I said, this is recorded and you'll have this information, but there are still some monthly reports that still need to be turned in, expenditure reports, and budget templates. And so I will be connecting with you. I know that Adina sent out an email, a couple of emails last week asking if anyone needed some help, any grantees needed help with submissions of the monthly reports. So definitely work on those, kind of like what Patricia just said. She's working on the December monthly report, and that's due this Friday. For this next round of check-ins, we're looking at the reports, and that's how we look at it with you, just to see target numbers, demographics, to provide clarity and all that moving forward. Let's see. Adina, did you have any last minute reminders? Like I said, the data that I was planning on sharing today, I'll share it next month during our next webinar.
That's, I got everything out, so.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming and participating in this webinar. Definitely shoot Adina and I an email if you have any questions. Please communicate with PSC if you'd like to participate with the evaluation process. And we will see you. I will see you, and Adina will see you at check-ins and at the next webinar. See you then. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Mm-hmm.